100 years from now, I sincerely hope we don't need something like MindRight, and I hope we aren't still trying to heal communities of color from trauma that happened 100 years ago. We are a tech nonprofit with the mission of empowering youth of color to heal from trauma from systemic oppression.
Our vision is to use technology to create spaces for systemic healing among communities of color. And so we view this work as social justice work, looking at access to mental health and education as core civil rights issues. 1
in 4 inner city youth witness a murder before they turn age 17. When you think about it, it's just absurd that there isn't more being done, especially when 1 out of 3 of those youth are expected to be diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder. So I grew up in New Jersey. Both of my parents grew up in inner city neighborhoods in West Philly and Newark, New Jersey. Both of my parents actually witnessed a murder before the time they graduated high school. They beat incredible odds to overcome a cycle of poverty in our family and went on to college and became very successful, and now endowed me with privilege where I feel like I can come back to Newark in the same neighborhood that my dad grew up in and serve the community.
I got involved with MindRight through Ashley. She was a teacher of mine at the time, and I was going through some stuff in school, so I always went to her.
So operationally, we have a web app that we build ourselves that's customized, and so we're not texting kids from our phones, we're actually logging into a laptop every day, and that's how the text messages are being sent. But on the back end, kids are receiving it as regular SMS text messages that could be coming from their friends, if that's how it could look to outsiders.
I was really depressed in high school, really bad. There was a drive-by shooting, and I'm looking out the window and I'm seeing blood on the floor and this ambulance. They clean the blood off the pavement, and it's just it's crazy.
Exposure to violence in neighborhoods that are usually under-resourced, communities of color, really can continue this cycle of poverty and crime. And so if I've seen someone get murdered in front of me, which a lot of our kids have, PTSD can really result in symptoms that make you more likely to be aggressive or become a perpetuator of violence yourself. And so with MindRight, by helping people heal, we're really trying to stop the cycle and break it by empowering people with coping skills and connecting them to resources.
I really didn't even know how to really cope with that. I've never seen this before, so I was speaking to MindRight or whatever. They're this kind of stuff is not okay, but the feelings that you can't really explain are okay.
My name is Adorian Murray Thomas. I am the founder and CEO of She Wins, Inc., which is a girls' leadership organization here in the city of Newark, made primarily for girls who are affected by violence. And we really started to just see how dedicated Ashley and her team were, even how they came here to Newark to have a bunch of different focus groups and meet the young people in person, to follow up on the work to say, okay, this is what we're doing, how can we do it even better?
And so we've done focus groups with many of our students and community partners. When they hear the term mental health, they think straitjacket, insane asylum. Especially in communities of color, that stigma is super strong, which makes it really hard to reach out. And if I'm a low-income kid, it's hard to even get transportation access to go to a clinic. I may not feel safe even talking on the phone to access telehealth services in my home. And so by the time I've experienced untreated trauma and I end up, let's say, in an ER, I'm already in crisis.
It's been really powerful for the girls, honestly, to have somebody who is interested in who they are, who's interested in sort of transforming their potential to promise, all literally through the touch of their fingertips.
You can see her clear sense of purpose in this work and how driven she is, and how for her it's about the youth that we're serving.
So the fact that it's available digitally, really, you kind of just see that impact, because our girls, it's not like they have to go to a meeting or go to a center or go to an office and in order to have somebody just sort of check in on them. They don't even have to have a phone call, right? It's literally just through the consistency of someone sending you a text every day, and not just sending you a text, but actually having a real conversation.
We work with the most resilient kids, and for them to share their stories of what they've been through in adversity, and for me to be on the receiving end and to have the opportunity to support them is an honor. I'm not doing a startup for the intellectual exercise of it. I'm doing this work because I believe it's the civil rights issue of our time. I went to Yale University, and then I went to Stanford's Business School and School of Education, and many of my classmates are living well right now. And my co-founder and I went to Stanford, and now we're doing a full-time nonprofit, making it day to day, week to week. We don't really know what the future holds, and that's a choice that we made. I believe that we are wealthy in other ways and financially right now, but I think if you're going to go into a career like this, you have to be highly self-aware and know if that's something that you're up to, if you can envision your life in that way. And some days it's hard, and some days, most days, all days, I'm appreciative.